Hello friends, I hope you're all well, and I'm sorry about the delay with the video. It's been such a busy month. I want to get right into the topic. I thought of working on Maqsoum. Maqsoum is a very popular beat, but it has a lot of dynamics around it, and it depends on which kind of music you're playing with and how can you deal with it to make it sound so tasteful and full. Of course, we're all familiar with the Maqsoum as a basic structure, and then I'm just going to demonstrate the whole thing. I'm going to play it for a while with different dynamics and sounds. See how does it sound to you, and I will explain a little bit through that. Okay, so from basic. And so on. Okay, so all this I demonstrated is really basic things that they're not extra ornaments. It's something every drummer would know and can use some of these elements just to make a whole Maqsoum sound. If you notice, the main chorus beat is happening always dum tak tak dum tak dum tak, and then on top of that you can see how you can apply just those few dynamics, let alone putting rolls and more things like that, just with the rounding and the qarshi. Now, all these dynamics, they become handy once you understand the music and you know the progression of it. Any song that you memorize, try to apply these things to it. I'm going to make demonstrations within songs that I know, songs and some instrumental parts where they have Maqsoum, and see how they deal with it. One of the things I can start with is just like when a song is happening and there's a singer singing, the most important thing is to give them the space. How you can do this is by being able to understand what sounds do you make. For example, you try to avoid slaps and heavy slaps, or even rounded sound like this. Or it can be mostly this way. You see how it just gives more space for the singer, and then when there's a chorus that repeats the line, you can totally do the other sounds, you can fill up more. But most of the time when the singer is doing a solo by themselves, or even an instrumental doing a solo, it's so nice and wise to be able to hold on the taqqa sound. You know? And then I'm going to demonstrate just quickly from Nassam Alayna Al-Hawa from Fairuz, how it can be steady Maqsoum, and then we get excited kind of Maqsoum when you repeat the line. Here we go. نسم علينا الهوى من مفرق الوادي يا هوى دخل الهوى خدني على بلادي نسم علينا الهوى من مفرق الوادي يا هوى دخل الهوى خدني على بلادي. So you see, you can, same line, you can go up and down with it depending on the emotion. As when the vocal part comes in, again, to be steady when you come down, you come down, but not to lose your pressure and the effectiveness of the beat, you know. يا هوا دخل الهوا خدني على بلادي يا هوا, see, resorting to the taqqa, يلي طاير بالهوا, you know. So that's the idea behind it, to be able to come down this way. Again, the rolling sound, as I said earlier, it fills up so much, so you have to be really mindful of it when you can use it, and how to make it in an ornamental part. For example, if I do Ya Hawa Ya Hawa Yalli Tayir Bil Hawa, you see the point? I can apply them in places while I'm still sparse. So that's one dynamic about it. Coming to the intensity of the play also itself, in the different kinds of music. If you go to belly dance music, there's a bit more intense playing because of the dancer and the excitement of it. So your Maqsoum usually played a lot sharper, and then the qarshi sound comes in to fill in more. I want to demonstrate a couple of things from Nassam al Hawa, from the instrumental part, and then from for a belly dance, how would it sound, even in the same song, okay, if you can imagine. Okay, so one time just regular singing, and the second time for belly dancing. So if it's نسم علينا الهوى من مفرق الوادي يا هوى دخل الهوى خدني على بلادي. Now belly dance. نسم علينا الهوى من مفرق الوادي يا هوى دخل الهوى خدني على بلادي. This example, just I didn't want to say just belly dancing. It's even for social dancing. When music gets excited, you can excite the line this way with the qarshi. But you will know that, yeah, it becomes very intense and sharp. If you play the qarshi with the Nassam alayna, it can be like Nassam alayna al-hawa min mafraq al-wadi ya hawa dakhli al-hawa khidni ala biladi. So you play it sparse, you don't play it continuously. Again, there's this idea about when you play the qarshi, that's continuous, you keep playing it. But then the more you get used to it and to the music, you will know where to sparse it. Like, you don't always play it. For example, you can play something like this. I can put it just one place, I can put it in two places only, or put it all around like in the beginning. So just to be able to know that this qarshi thing is movable according to your taste and the music that you're dealing with. All right, I hope that's clear enough. The interchange in the beats, being in Maqsoum, and then to give more dynamic, you put baladi in the, نسم علينا الهوى من مفرق الوادي نسم علينا الهوى من مفرق الوادي يا هوى دخل الهوى. See, you can emphasize the same part, and come back to play it back in Maqsoum. So again, as much as possible, get the feel of that beat itself and how it flows, and see how you can ornament it with what I showed you earlier, to get more hang of it, and then see how it applies in the music itself when you play it. A dynamic between Maqsoum and the Wahda wa Nus. The older compositions used to be more in Wahda wa Nus, and then Maqsoum slowly became more dominant. But within that, sometimes you find a piece in Wahda wa Nus itself, and then it can be played softly in Maqsoum, like a softer Maqsoum. I can think of this song from Syria. Ah ya ladani ya ladani ya ladani yahwi dalak sidi ah ya aini ah ya ladan ya ladan ya ladani yahwi dalak sidi ah Allah Allah amsa عليك الخير يا بلدنا والأهل والأصحاب الله الله. So you see the speed of the Wahda wa Nus allows you to insert this Maqsoum for a while and then come back, So Wahda wa Nus, or Sumbati even. In Egypt they call it Sumbati. And also from the olden days, some of the older drummers used to round the maqsoum itself to almost sound like a wahda ونص, you know, when they play it, but you still can hear the tech of the maqsoum itself. See? Versus see, just the way around it, it gives that feeling of wahda ونص. And those two beats are beautiful to be played within each other, you know. That's wahda ونص. And then again, Maqsoum with its variations and the interplay with the beats. I brought the Maqsoum, I mean the Baladi example only. There's the Saidi and the wahda ونص, I mean the Nawari, sorry. Those can be also used, but most of the time the Baladi, just because of the two dums in the beginning, gives this extra step, and then you can refrain back to the Maqsoum. But that itself, it has a nice dynamic to it. Saidi can work to keep a whole phrase happening in a Saidi beat versus Baladi. You know, Baladi after a while becomes very heavy for the beginning. Like you can't always play the two dums, especially if the Maqsoum is a bit fast. You know, if it's faster than a certain speed, it becomes a burden to play the two dums. You know, to revert to Saidi, that can be easier sometimes than that, or just stay in the Maqsoum feel itself. Okay, this is Maqsoum, and on the slower beats, the faster Maqsoum, you know, when you play it becomes almost Maqsoum Sari'a, but it's still not so fast, you know. If I want to bring a part from the instrumental prelude to Kulthum's song Laylat Hub, the ta 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 ta. So this speed, it's a higher speed Maqsoum. Like this, my personal advice, to be able to pick the sounds where it can allow you to flow. This is now about the flow of the beat itself and keeping up with the speed, not to waver, not to fall off, just to keep, and not to speed up also, because it is fast already, but you just have to keep up with the and then to avoid using the qarshi, for example, if it's really too fast, you will find yourself in a strenuous place, and then the qarshi itself, it starts affecting the flow of the beat. You know, if you're not trained enough, your hand's not trained enough, I totally suggest you let go of it. Some people, they get stuck in trying to play the qarshi with the play. No, just let go as much as possible. You know, let's see if I can play it at that speed. Kind of mushy, it's not clear enough because of the speed, and also you have to be mindful of the other drummers with you and the other musicians, because also using the qarshi can push. You know, you find yourself pushing to get this, you know, effect. This is an effect that you have to, or an effort you have to make there, but at the same time, you don't want to lose your balance. You want to stay back as much as possible. Try it on slower speeds, and then if you get to that higher speed and you can do it, that's all the better, of course. Okay. Oh yeah, another dynamic I've just before I forget about playing with the mute sound. If you notice, I'm doing there's always two tacks. Okay, a dynamic to relieve the sound of the beat becomes only one tack in the beginning by doing the just two open sounds on the dum ka ka dum ka ka dum ka ka. Okay, so that's one thing I'll show you where it leads to. But just to get the idea behind this, dum ka ka dum ka ka versus dum ka ka dum ka. You see, that's the regular speed. Okay, so when you go fast with the Maqsoum with the taqqa, it becomes hard to keep up. a lot of speed. What we do as in the tradition, is to let go into this. So if you go a bit faster, you will see how that, you know. So when you go faster, you see the need for this let go to be able to spin, you know, again faster. So you have the option either to play it this way or doubles here. So boom tick tick tack, boom tick tack, or boom tick tick tack, boom tick tack. See how the right hand, it's the tack. There's tack ka tack versus ka ka tack. So boom ka ka tack. So both are legitimate. Okay. And then again, back to the qarshi practice. Also, I wanted to mention this for that qarshi to be more effective when you play the maqsoum and with the tak only. When you play the tak, you need to be able to adjust your qarshi also to keep that the sound of the tak here very clear. So just watch this. The reason I'm saying this because the tak gets lost in the sounds of the other taks here. So you have to make the effort to make it happen, and then the qarshi rounded precisely around it. You know, if you play the slab, it's a bit easier to make the qarshi and the slab. They are very distinct between the tak and sak and tak. You know, so. But if I play in the tak. To make more effort to take the tak sound into more. One way to practice that, just to get into it, try to practice this line like this. You know, enhance your tak as much as possible, and the soft, you know, the sharp tak and the soft tak. Back to play it in. Okay, so that's the how the qarshi is applied in this beat. Again, just to sum it up, that Maqsoum is a very popular beat played in all kind of Middle Eastern music, and now it's part of the fusion genre. Try to enjoy it, enjoy the groove itself, and see with those basic elements and basic dynamics how can you build an overall strong sound of a beat, and at the same time it's bouncy and you have control over it. You don't speed up, you don't slow down, you know, and the ornaments become more tasteful and they make sense in a certain way. Okay, I hope I said everything. As usually, if you have any questions, any suggestions or topics, please share, and we will be happy to continue with you. All right, have a good time. Bye-bye.